It's been pretty busy as far as the travel's concerned so far, and we will keep you up to date as we always do on the programme. So our next guest, I am pleased to say, is Nina Saville, whose career spans theatre, film and television, both on and off screen, as a producer. So Nina was in the iconic 1970 sitcom Are You Being Served? Played Miss Ainsworth, Mr. Rumbold's ditzy secretary. Do you remember? I'm sure she does. She's now turned her hand to writing and is about to publish her first novel, A Night with Damien Spur. Described as a romantic comedy tinged with darkness, delving into, well, the realms of unrequited love. And I'm glad to say Nina can tell us more. She's on the line with us now. Hello, Nina. Afternoon to you.
Hello, Julie.
Nice to have you with us on the programme, and wherever you are listening to us, it's great to know that you're there. So thank you for being with us today. So Nina, I'm quite intrigued by A Night with Damien Spur, but I'm going to rewind slightly because I always want to say, when I say, Are You Being Served? You've all done very well, in the words of young Mr. Grace. Is that right? Do I get that right?
You did get that right. They were a wonderful troupe.
And I guess wonderful times for you as well, though, playing Miss Ainsworth.
Oh, it was such a joy because the cast was so helpful, and it was really an ensemble cast, but it was live. And, Molly Sugden and John Inman and just the group, Wendy Richards, they were so sweet and helpful because they were used to it. I wasn't used to it. I mean, I'd done theatre and things, but a live audience, and they really made it easy. And when you've got a group of people around you and you're a young actress, they help. Yeah. They really help.
And I think a lot of people forget that it was live. And I remember going to see Are You Being Served with Ronnie Barker years and years ago, and that was live. And that just doesn't happen nowadays, does it, as far as TV's concerned?
No, and it doesn't happen to new. The other thing is that a lot of the laughter is piped. And the great thing about Are You Being Served, the people really found it funny. It was very different.
Yeah, genuine chuckle.
It was a joyous experience.
Yeah, I can imagine as well. But quite a career history for you, if you don't mind me saying, Nina. From stage, you mentioned theatre, film, television, producer, and now writing.
Yeah.
So this is your first novel. Tell us about it.
It is my first novel. Well, basically, it's, as I said, it's A Night with Damien Spur, and it follows Damien, a charismatic thriller writer who's gorgeous, sexy, and utterly irresistible. But beneath the charm, he battles self-destructive habits. After his obsessive, unrequited love pushes him to rock bottom, his life takes a dramatic turn. Guided by the voice in his head, Damien begins a captivating journey of redemption.
Oof. I say, I'm already on. I want to turn to the next page, if I'm honest with you now, Nina. But it sounds absolutely inspiring. But, and I read a little bit about the book as well. And am I right in saying that some of it is based on your experiences and previous relationships?
I was married to a god. I mean, I was married to Philip Saville, who did Lives and Loves of a She-Devil, Gangsters, Boys from the Black Stuff, who was probably the sexiest man on earth. Prior to me marrying him, he had slept with numerous amounts of beautiful, wonderful women, right? But by the time he got to me, he was exhausted. So he was, he asked me to marry him, and he was as faithful as a swan. I really do mean it. I think he'd sort of done it all. But yes, it's based on him, but he didn't have any self-destructive habits. Not really. I mean, he was just an amazing person. And he was he was a feminist as well as sort of being a healthy alpha male. He had both of those qualities. And I think Damien Spur too has both of those qualities. He's good to women. He's kind to women. He helps women. And at the same time, he's no angel.
How do we meet this man? Sorry.
Yes, exactly. I'm afraid we can't. It's cloning them. Yeah.
No, my husband is listening, and I have to say, when I met him, I would have probably said it and described him as probably the sexiest man on earth. So how lovely to hear you saying that with such passion and such honesty as well about you describe him as a god. And I just looked up, we've got three ladies I'm working with this afternoon. We've got Emma and I've got Ali and our newsreader as well today, Caroline. And everyone just looked around and went, oh wow, the description you gave of him was just like, well, who is she talking about? But that, to think he was your husband for a long time as well. You were together, weren't you?
Oh, yeah, we were together. I mean, I met him at an audition for Dracula to play one of the young women vampires. And I was going up the lift. It was like going up to heaven. It was immediate love. And then he sat me outside and he was auditioning another girl. And he came out and he had lipstick all over his neck. And I said, Mr. Saville, why have you got lipstick all over your neck? And he said in his very dark voice, she was practicing being a vampire. And I thought,
did she get the part? Well, clearly not, because you got the part, I'm guessing.
No, I didn't get the part.
Oh no!
But I made him chase me for a long time because I knew he had women for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And I mean, he didn't have to lift a finger. By the way, he was he wasn't a Me Too person.
He was a god.
No. And so eventually, I mean, we were together. He was married prior to, but he wasn't, since then, I didn't even know about any of that. Anyway, so then afterwards, when we did actually get married and he went down on one knee, it was so sweet. Much older than me, though, 27 years older than me. But when we did get married, he gave me all these different acting parts, which was some I was terrible in.
Do you know, I absolutely love your honesty, Nina. I really do. This is so refreshing on a Friday afternoon. But what made you turn to writing? Is it because you knew you had this passion for your husband, that you had those experiences that you wanted other people, I suppose, to experience?
Well, it's totally fiction. I'm telling you it is. But I worked with Philip on a lot of productions. We wrote scripts together. I mean, we did things. He taught me more than any other person could have taught me. And I think that after he passed away in end of 2016, I didn't quite know what to do with my life. And then suddenly it came to me and I thought, right, just let's carry on. Let's do something that's going to engross me. And I did it. And I mean, I stuck at it and I really, really found the process very healing because I could feel his words of advice. I mean, that sounds a bit romantic and slushy, but I also, I did that, but I also paint, which I love. And, that's the other thing that I did at that time as well. And I paint now quite a lot. So, I mean, yeah. And
there are so many, we have different ways of coping with grief, but our mechanisms, but it is perhaps that person you're grieving for, if they come to you and gives you that experience and that sort of, I don't know, just encouragement. You said you could hear his words and it obviously inspired you to write and to paint. And I guess that if you were to say to someone else who's going through it at the moment, is to look for something to look forward to. Would you agree?
Absolutely right. I think that it's really important to transfer whatever you have in your head, which is bringing you down, into something tangible. And I think that writing is an incredibly tangible thing if you can do it. And I learnt how to do it over those years. I mean, I was with him and I learnt from when I started with him, but I really learnt when I did the book because I had good editors. And then I had a girlfriend of mine that I stayed with for 3 months while this place was being damp proofed, called Sherry Lungi, who's a wonderful actress and very, very kind. And we used to go through the book together as well, apart from the editors. And it's a very good process. I mean, it doesn't really matter what you do, but after somebody's passed away that you're really in love with, it's kind of difficult. And you've got to fill the void somehow or other. Otherwise, you're going to get super depressed. And I didn't actually get super depressed because I knew that he wouldn't want me to. And that's the difference. And I move forward now. I'm learning. I've moved on, I think.
Yeah, I think that is having that. Things, you never get over them, but you just move on. You can change, as I say. You can actually cope and think life is going on, and I have to go on with it. I guess that's the way to look at it, isn't it?
It's called. I think that there's a word. It's called the art of reinvention. Okay. You just have to keep reinventing yourself. And it doesn't matter whether you're a sort of, 28, 38, 40. It doesn't matter. Because if you do that, then you have life. And I think that that's what's important. You really want to carry on.
Without giving the game away about A Night with Damien Spur, it is literally about somebody who actually, am I right, at an auction? They bid
Yes.
for a night with him?
Yes. Oh, yes. This is it. This woman, Lady Elizabeth Maitland. I don't want to give too much away. I can give a bit away, Julie.
Go on, just
and she bids
tease.
for a night, teasy. She bids for a night with Damien Spur, which ostensibly just them. They should be chatting together, talking about his books. Aha! No, 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 no. This Ice Queen seduces him. Ah, yes. And he falls. He's a must-have, can't-have man, and I won't tell you why. He always goes for the wrong women. Even though he's the sexiest man on earth, he goes for the wrong women. Anyway, she seduces him, and then that's when the spiral goes out of control. But he finds, don't worry, there's an upside to the story.
Okay.
It's quite funny too.
Is he someone that you want to, you not love to hate, but he is the wrong one, but you can't help but fall in love with him?
Yes.
Okay.
because he has a kindness about him. Mm-hmm. And whoever he sleeps with, he doesn't just throw them away like he sleeps with. Well, I won't go on because otherwise, I want people to read the book. But he's kind. He helps people. Philip was like, that's the side of Philip Saville that was true. He was very, very kind and he wasn't nasty to women.
This is your debut novel, Nina. Is there another one perhaps waiting for you to write?
Yes, they've asked me. There is another one. I'm taking one of the characters out of the book, who's another character who's very, very interesting. And he is a guy who came from nothing and then was a very famous restaurateur. And he had the first proposal restaurant, inverted commas, where men would go and propose to women. And that was in Las Vegas. And so I think he's quite an interesting character.
We should look forward to that. Without any more spoilers, thank you so much for being with us. I know you're a very busy lady. A lot more to come, I know, not just with writing. Back on the stage, I guess? Are you looking at doing some more acting in the future? No, you've had your day. You've had enough of that.
No. I prefer to write and to carry on. And I think the book's will do quite well, apparently. So, sure. I'm going to carry on.
It sounds amazing. And don't forget the painting as well, though. That sounds, you can. Enjoy.
That's lovely. I do enjoy that.
Thank you so much for being with us today. We will rush out and get our copy now of A Night with Damien Spur. Definitely.
Thank you so much,
Take
Julie.
care.
It's been a pleasure.
And
thank you, dear.
Thank you. Have a good weekend. Nina Saville has been our guest this afternoon, and you can get that book, as they say, from all good bookshops, online, or wherever you decide to do your reading. It is A Night with Damien Spur by Nina Saville.